Building military mental discipline. There's three parts to this, and it's how much money should you save is the first one. The second one, easiest way to achieve this. And the third one, the main purpose to do it this way is to forget about your savings account. How much money should you save? You have to be realistic. Then stick to your decision with military discipline for at least, 2 months, then adjust accordingly. It's better to save a consistent amount opposed to saving random amounts. Now, why is that? Remember the saying, we've said it in 2 other chapters, so we might as well say it again. I don't fear a man who can punch the bag 1,000 times in a day. I fear the man that can punch the bag once a day for 1,000 days. That's the basis of consistency, right? With doing that, you're building a habit. So if you're 1 week you're saving $10, the next week you're saving $20, and the next week you're saving $5 and $30 and $40, you're not building a discipline, right? Find the average of all those numbers I just said and save that much every week consistently. Do not deviate. Why are you doing that? You're just building successful habits, right? You're sticking to something. You came up with a plan and you're sticking to it. That's why we're saying do it for a month or two, do it for a few months, maybe 6 months. It all depends on how long you need to ingrain something into your head, and then adjust accordingly. Was it strenuous on your life? Were you saving too much? Was it not enough? Was it too easy for you to save? Because what we're doing is we're building disposable income, right? And with that disposable income, you can use that money for investments. All right. That's why we need to save a consistent amount to build a discipline upon it. If you're struggling and you cannot see any way you can save anything, right? And I know a lot of people are like, there's no way I can save anything. I made a video. 14 years ago. 14 years ago about quarters. And it was talking about how much money you can save just by saving your quarters. And at the time, I know this is before plastic was really as prominent as it is today. But by Wednesday, I started starting the week on Wednesday. By Wednesday, I had $3 worth of quarters. So if you were to just stick those $3 away, hide them from yourself, and do it every day for a month, and then take that money and put it in dollars and figure out what you have, then guesstimate that's how much you're going to save. But if you have a problem saving, then just save anything, right? Start with $1 a month or even a penny a day. The important thing is you start building the discipline of saving opposed to spending. The skill you're developing to save robotically will change your life, right? Again, the whole point of doing this, the whole reason you're building a discipline to save is you're building a discipline, right? The more disciplined you become, the more military-minded or military mental discipline that you have, the better it will serve you later in life. So if you're not disciplined enough to manage $1, then there's no way you're disciplined enough to manage 1,000, right? And we can go up the scale. You're only going to be able to manage to your discipline level. Does that make sense? So if you're having a problem saving $1 a day, then it makes sense why you don't have $100 in your savings. Does that make sense? If you're having problems saving $1,000, right? Like, adding up and stacking $1,000, it would make sense why you don't have $1,000 in your bank account, right? It's hard for us to perceive a number that we do not have. If you have $1 million in the bank account, then $1 doesn't mean too much. You're used to it. You have a discipline of $1 million. But if all you have is $10 in your bank account, then you have a discipline of what? $10. So by saving, we're robotically changing our lives by creating a new discipline in our lives. The easiest way to achieve this, I spoke of one very easy way, which was saving quarters, right? If that is not easy enough for you and you need a different way, then you can open an additional bank account, just the account. Do not have a check, even though, you might not even know what checks are. Don't have an ATM card and do not have any way to access this money, right? Then automatically withdraw your predetermined amount the same day you deposit your paycheck or other source of income. You want to withdraw it the same time so your brain does not miss it. And if you notice, you're most lenient with your money the day that you are paid. So what you're doing is you're taking the money out before you even see it. Before you have that euphoric attitude about yourself where you're just like, I just got paid, it's payday, and I can go party, right? You're automatically taking the money out. So when you go to the party, you're kind of like, well, I'm missing some money. In a positive way, though. So now you can't party and celebrate quite as much as you used to. Is that a problem? No, you can still do what you want to do, but this time, 10 weeks down the road, you're going to have a nice little nest egg. Then maybe you can take that money and invest in something else. That's why we say easiest way to do this is to open up an account that you don't have access to, and automatically, before you even look at your bank account, let it be taken out. Just how, the government takes money out of your check before you even get to touch it. Well, pay yourself just like you have to pay the government. Before you even get to touch it, pay yourself. The main purpose to do this way is to forget about the savings account. Right? We kind of went into that. Let's go in a little bit more. The best way to save something is to not think about it or focus about it. So the best way to save it and the best way to not think about it is to not have access to it. Because if you give yourself an out, right, then you might, succumb to it and take that out. So that's why, saving money under the mattress isn't the best place. One, the bank's not going to, give you much interest either. So, on they're about even on making money. However, you're just tempting yourself, right? Unless you have supreme military discipline not to ever touch your money underneath the pillow, then go ahead. And I understand you're going to be like, well, Eric, I'm making money, man. I save my money under my pillow and I'm fine with that. Be like, okay, well, what happens on a rainy day when you stop making money? Then you're going to be susceptible to go into your stash until there's no stash anymore. So this is the whole purpose why we want to make it to where we do not have access to it. We want to give ourselves kind of a 3-dayer, right? I have a couple accounts to where it takes me 3 days to get access to the money. And that means that it's weekdays too, banks close on weekends. So if I want the money, I have to think about it Monday, Tuesday. And then Thursday, Friday, I'll have it. But what I've noticed is the majority of the time, I like to buy on impulse. And by Thursday or Friday, I don't even want it anymore. So I save that money. Now, if you don't have that discipline set up like that, then don't give yourself. And if your own discipline isn't as mature as that, then do not give yourself any way to touch that money until you've built the necessary disciplines to be able to have access to your money, because you know that you're going to put your money in a more profitable situation. Because again, what we're doing is we're creating disciplines to be able to make more money, right? But if we don't have the discipline, because it's really easy, and you hear on YouTube, you hear all over the place, it's like, yeah, you need a lot of money and all this other stuff, and they're talking of all this big money and everything, and you're like, man, I can't even save $10. Well, I've been there too. And so part of the reason why I'm saying that and why I'm trying to start from this beginning is part of it is the discipline in your mind, right? We talked about this as well in earlier chapters. Change the way you think and it will change the way you do. Change the things you do and it will change the way you think. So if you start doing this, then it's going to change the way you think about money. It's going to change your values, because you're going to start thinking about, maybe I don't want those $200 pair of Jordans. I have something better to do, right? I'd rather buy Nike stock. All right.